Madam Speaker, I rise to ask question 5, 2015. The question is directed to the Honourable Minister of Defence, National Security and Immigration. The question is, what is the status of our troops in the Golan Heights after the deployment from the Syrian side to the Israeli side? Thank you.
Thank you. The Minister for Defence, National Security and Immigration.
I thank the Honourable Member for the questions, and I think that this question will also help the relatives and friends of soldiers who are serving in UNDOF. After the release of the 45 Fijian soldiers by Al-Nusra from UNDOF on 11 September 2014, the security situation in UNDOF area of operations continued to escalate, including the areas of separation. And right to a point where the decision by UNDOF was to move to the Bravo side, to the Israeli side. And that was done between 13 to 15 September. The 434 Fijian troops had to vacate 12 positions in the northern AO, including 12 staff officers in Camp Paul, and relocate to Camp Zuri in the Alpha side, the Israeli side. As a result, was the redeployment has become a new UNDOF headquarters in Camp Zuri, which accommodate the Fijian, Indian, and Irish troops. As we speak, the only UNDOF position within the mandate area of separation are the 4 Nepalese position in Mount Herman and UN position 80, manned by the Fijian company in the south, which is previously occupied by the Philippines contingent. The other position manned by our troops is UN position 51 on the Alpha side. The remaining Fijian troops that are provided level 1 medical services, heavy platoon drivers and battalion support elements remain at Camp Zoini. In total, the current UNDOF positions are 12, including 5 positions in the area of separation. That is 4 at Mount Herman position and UN position 80. The current Fijian complement is in UNDOF is 448 personnel, which include Colonel Kaloniwai, who is inducted in the UNDOF Chief of Staff. In terms of safety and security, since the movement of our troops to the Israeli side of the area of separation on 15 September, there has not been any incident or situation that threaten our troops. As the whole of UNDOF is due to the safety and security cover by the Israelis. The location of UNDOF headquarters at Camp Zoini, in which the Israeli side of the border, in close proximity of the Israeli Defense Force bases along the Golan Heights. Regarding the legal status of our troops, the UN mandate, the status of force agreement, SOFA, between the UN and Syria and the MOU since the deployment remained unchanged. The morale of our troops is high, and family spouses are allowed to visit our troops through the Galilee region. Troops are allowed to go and live to Israel and permitted areas of the region. Thank you.
Thank you. Supplementary question.
Madam Speaker, there continues to be speculation about our troops, our sons who were taken hostage. And it irks us that on the same day the Filipinos were able to save themselves from the situation as our boys got taken. Can we be told once and for all what exactly happened the day? How come our troops became hostages of foreign elements who were terrorists? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honourable Minister.
I just mentioned that the areas of separation where our troops were was on the Bravo side. You have the border, the Bravo side is on the other side. Now they are on the Alpha side, Israeli side, and it's very safe. As I mentioned, the security in where they are also covered by the Israeli Defense Force. So there's no chance of having any more problems on this side of the border. They are very safe at the moment. From September until now, there is no other incidents regarding to the safety of our troops at Andof.
Supplementary question, Madam Speaker. I think the request to the Minister is, and the question that goes along with it, is can this Parliament, which is the superior making body of this country, get a report, an official one, from the RFMF as to the circumstances of the taking of the hostages and their release? Was there a ransom levied, and who and how was it paid? Those are serious matters that this Parliament should be told, and it will go to maybe helping the RFMF prevent the next one.
Honourable Minister for Defence.
Yeah, we will give you a report.
Thank you. A report will be tabled and will be provided for all those interested. Thank you. We will now move on to the supplementary question.
Honourable Speaker.
What type of training do these troops undertake before they go on these peacekeeping missions? And what particular type of training was given to the soldiers who were taken at the Golan Heights? What type of training, if the Minister can provide that?
Thank you. Minister for Defence.
Will you please repeat the questions?
Certainly, Honourable Minister. Honourable Speaker, my question is supplementary. What type of training do the troops undertake before they go off on peacekeeping duties? And in this particular case, to the Golan Heights, what type of training was provided for the soldiers? Thank you.
Thank you. Minister for Defence.
Thank you for the question. The training of our peacekeepers is conducted by the RFMF at the Force Training Group in consultation with the Department of Peacekeeping Operations in New York. Before a deployment, the situation is assessed of the situation, and then the capability of our troops, of what arms they should take. That is done before a prior deployment. And that is part and parcel of the training in Fiji before they are deployed. And they are also assessed by the UN.
Thank you. Supplementary question.
I asked the same question that Honorable Ngabok asked. What happened on that day? Why didn't they stand up like the Filipinos did? Because it hasn't been answered.
A report has...
Thank you. Point of order.
A report has already been requested, and the Honourable Minister has given his undertaking that he will provide one.
Thank you. Supplementary.
Mr. Speaker, if the Honourable Minister can just take into account and consider in his report about the arms, whether they were taken by the foreign element, if they were, whether they had been returned or not, and whether that was paid by the government or who paid for it.
Thank you. The report will be reviewed by the Minister for Defence to ensure that the issue raised is also included.